Most new prison architect players make the same mistakes. Wasted money, riots breaking out, and prisons that spiral out of control. But here's the thing. Pros know a few simple tricks that completely change the game. In this video, I'll share 7 tips that experienced players use to keep their prisons running smoothly, stay profitable, and avoid chaos. Make sure you watch to the end, because tip number 7 is the one that separates beginners from true pros. To kick things off, first thing you need to be doing is utilizing all your staff, in particularly your foreman and psychologist, or rather foremen and psychologists. Unlike the warden or the financial advisor, where you can only have one, with the foreman and psychologist, you can have more. At least 5 to be exact, for the foreman at least. And this means that you can have more than one in your prison at any one time. And if you have multiple security levels separated, you can have designated foreman or psychologist for each security sector. If you want things to run even smoother, you're going to have to consider your office placement. These little dwellings for all your important people are also your prisoners' guaranteed access to every piece of contraband desirable. So putting offices just anywhere can be an incredibly bad idea. Put your chief's office inside the security room, away from prisoners and grubby little fingers. And do the same for your chief and financial assistant. This also keeps them safe if things go wrong in your prison and prevent them from, well, dying. Another thing to consider is placing an office for your foreman inside the workshop and psychologist next to the common room. Another smart building tactic you should definitely make sure that you do is block off your visitation. It's simple. Separate prisoners from visitors. You can only really do this with booths, but it's worth it. You can restrict contraband coming into your prison, and you can also eliminate any hopes and dreams of these guys attempting any cheeky little exits. Just don't forget to mark out where the visitors are allowed so that the guards can be on point and react if your prisoners tried to do a funny one. And speaking of ideas, and no, not a funny one, but a good one, would be to have a shared space for certain jobs and then other jobs be designated to specific security sectors. But it's much more efficient to have all your prisoners work in one cleaner's cupboard rather than lots of smaller ones for each individual cell block. This will save valuable building space to use on other, more useful rooms. So you've built smart and a clever prison that is super efficient. But this only goes so far. So what any pro warden would do is continuously monitor his or her prisoners' needs constantly, identifying the problems that are causing the most grief and tackling them quickly to eradicate the problem. And to be more advanced, you can filter each security level down to really narrow down the exact source of everyone's misery, which saves time. Rather than having to build the same thing across multiple security sectors, you can just focus on the one that genuinely needs it. Encouraging prisoners to behave of their own accord is always going to be more effective than forcing them into line, which is why sentence adjustments is the absolute way to do that. Reward prisoners with reduced sentences for completing programs, working to make you money, and avoiding conflict with other prisoners, and more importantly, you. And punish those who choose to go down the violence and disobedience route, with extensions to their sentences, so one way or another, they'll eventually get the message that this is the way forward. Efficiency doesn't just come from how you build and where you build it. This also applies to your security structure, and this is why the deployment scheduler is the game changer for this. With this, you can organize and structure your security to be where you want and when you want them. No need to just plop a guard in a hallway 24/7 that's only used a total of 3 hours a day. Here you can plan that 3 hours and then utilize the other 21 hours to better suit what's going on in your prison. Have all the guards around the cell block during sleep time. to make sure your prisoners aren't up to no good. This is the most effective way to utilize your guards and minimize the amount you need. So not only do you have a safer prison, but a cheaper run one at that. I've covered this in a lot more depth in this video right here, so come check it out if you're interested. And here, one last bonus tip. Make sure you're using the security grading within the logistics tab. If you've sectioned your cell blocks into security levels, then you can view this option to see everything that's making a difference in that cell block and your overall cell block grade, and everything that's knocking it down a few pegs at the same time.